This is part one of creating and tagging an accessible PDF for a screen reader. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to make sure that you prep your Word document for conversion to PDF. And there's a few things that you're going to want to check for to make sure it converts well for an accessible PDF. The first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you have all of your text correctly sectioned out and marked with the right headings. This is going to make your tagging go a lot quicker, so you won't have to do it all manually, and making sure that you have good appropriate headings for everything in your course just makes it a lot easier to navigate for your learner. So as you can see, these main headings are marked with heading 2, some subheadings marked with heading 3. And this is just going to make it a lot easier and make more sense for the learner to navigate it. The next thing you're going to want to do is to go through, and if any of your text has brackets, you're going to want to remove those. Sometimes screen readers have sort of a hard time reading them, so you just want to make sure that you section that out differently. You can use parentheses, or you can just organize the text a little bit differently instead of using brackets. If your document doesn't already have it, you're going to want to make sure to add a table of contents. This is going to help a lot with ease of navigation, so you're going to want to make sure that that's included in your Word document for when you convert it to PDF. And then one more thing for any lists included in your document. If your list has a sublevel that looks like this, you're going to want to make sure that this open bullet is converted to a closed bullet. Reason being that some screen readers can read the open bullets a little weirdly. They can just read them as O. That's going to be a little bit confusing for your learners, so you want to make sure that they are all closed bullets that look like this. So once you've double checked your Word document for all the necessary updates, you can go ahead and convert it to PDF. Just like this, you go to Acrobat and then create PDF. I have already created mine in PDF. So I'm going to open it up. So in your PDF, the first thing that we're going to go over is how to tag your forms. We use two different types of forms within our ACIs. We use the multiple choice form for our knowledge checks, and then we use the text form for our signature and date lines. So we're going to go over how to tag those now. So what you're going to want to do is go over and open up your tags panel right here, and this will show you all the tags that came in when you converted your document from Word to PDF. If you select them and then tab through them, you can see what each tag is associated with on your screen. So we're going to tab down to this knowledge check right here. And as you can see, the knowledge check comes in as a list. We are going to change this up. We are going to first convert it from list to paragraph tags, and this will just help with how the screen reader reads out your answer choices. So the first thing you're going to do is you can take this list tag and you can delete it. As you can see, now the answer choices that you have for your knowledge check are not included when you tab through the tags on your panel right here. So what you're going to want to do is go ahead and create a new tag, and anytime you want to create a new tag, you are going to want to choose the tag above it because it will create the tag below. And in the tag options, you are going to mark it as paragraph. When you create a new tag, sometimes your document will scroll all the way back to the top. That's totally fine. To get back to the screen you were previously looking at, all you're going to want to do is click this tag right here, and it'll jump you right back to your screen. So you're going to make 4 of those paragraph tags. And then use this selection arrow right here. Click on the tag you want to create, and then highlight the piece of information you want included in that tag. Then what you do is go over to this tag you've created right here, and you right-click it, and you say Create Tag from Selection. And that will then connect this piece of information to this tag right here. You're going to want to do that for all of your answer choices. Perfect. So I only have one knowledge check included in this sample ACI here, but what you would do if you were creating an actual course ACI is you would go through and create those paragraph tags for all of your knowledge checks. I am going to go down to the bottom of the sheet, and you are going to do the same thing for your signature tag. As you can see, when you click on this paragraph tag right here, it encompasses the name and date and also these underlines. You don't want the screen reader to read out these underlines because that's not going to make any sense. So what we'll do is pop open this paragraph tag and delete this field right here. So now the tag's empty. You're going to create another paragraph tag. And then what you'll do is select the name here and the date. So now our knowledge checks and our signature fields are prepped for us to create the forms. So we're going to go back up to the knowledge check. And now we're going to create our forms. So over on this side panel right here, you're going to go to the section that says Prepare Forms. If this doesn't show up for you, go ahead and go into More Tools and just add it to this sidebar right here. So it'll come up with this page. This is fine. You can say Start and say Save if it needs to be saved. All right, awesome. So this is what's going to pop up. Sometimes it comes in with these pre-made forms, and these sometimes come in incorrectly. So what we're going to do is just delete them. And start over so that we can make sure that all of our forms are accurate. All right, so for our knowledge checks, we are going to use the radio button tool to create those forms. So what you're going to do is click the radio button and make your first radio button right beside your answer choice A. This yellow box will pop up and it'll come up with the radio button choice and the group name. The group name is going to be your question. And then pop in your answer choice right here. You're going to make this a required field, and then you're going to select Add Another Button. Do the same thing for all of your answer choices. Once you're done adding in all your answer choices, you are going to go to this All Properties button. It'll come up with this box. Your name, your question will be right here. You're going to copy and paste that into your Tooltips section. This is what the screen reader is going to read out. So you can close this now and go into Properties for each button and make sure, it should automatically go in, but just make sure that each of these has the same tooltip. Perfect. And then what I like to do is select all of the buttons, go to Properties, and then go to Position, and just make them nice and small and the same size. Then I just rearrange them to make sure that they all line up. Now, sometimes these tags come in, again, go ahead and delete them because we're going to do it manually to make sure that it tags exactly where we want it to. So now if we hop down to the last page here, now we've reached our signature tags. So for the signature fields, we are going to use the text field tag. So you create a field right here for the name. You can name this one name and make it required. And grab another text tab, name it date, and also make that required. Now you're going to go into all properties again. For the date, you are going to first choose the format. So for the format category, you're going to choose date, and then choose how you would like the learner to enter the date. And then in your tooltip, you're going to imitate that same format. You can close that out. Then you right-click name, go to properties, and add in the tooltip what you would like it to read out to your learner. So we chose name, parentheses, first name, comma, last name. Awesome. So now your forms have been created, and so now what's left to do is connect those forms to the tags that are on your side panel right here. So you can close out forms. And if you go to the tags that you have on the left-hand side of your screen, you can right-click this first one, create new tag, and then add a form tag. You're going to want to add a form tag to all of your knowledge checks, as well as to your signature fields. Then you're going to right-click this form tag, and you're going to go to Find. Select Unmarked Annotations and click Find. So as you can see, it has put a little square around this first radio button right here. You're going to say Tag Element. And so now when you open up the form tag, you can see that it has selected that first radio button, so that form is connected to your tag here. You're going to do the same thing for each of your form tags. And so now that whole form has been completed, and so it'll say Find Completed. And as you can see, they are all connected to that same question, so the same tooltip. Do that for all of your knowledge checks, and then you will go down to your signature and date fields, and you will do the same thing for those. See, it says name here, you can say tag. Awesome. So now all of your forms have been tagged and connected to the appropriate tags in your side panel right here. So if everything works as expected, that is all you'll have to do. However, sometimes everything doesn't go as expected and you'll need to do a little bit of troubleshooting. So I wanted to go through a couple of errors that we ran into when programming some of these ACIs, as well as how we went about solving them. So we'll go back up to the knowledge checks and start discussing some of those errors. So when you're tagging these knowledge check forms, sometimes when I was creating the radio buttons to make the knowledge checks, this yellow box would start disappearing. It would start not popping up on some of my answer choices, so that I wasn't able to add in radio button choices. I wasn't able to add in any text. So what you're going to want to do if that starts happening for you is there's a couple options that you can do to get back to a field where you can start entering text so you can enter your answer choices in. If that disappears, you can right-click on the radio button and go to Properties, and then go to Options, and you can add in your answer choices right there. However, sometimes even that wouldn't work, and I'd have to go about it another way. So the next error, if you are somehow not able to add text to this radio button choice text box right here, what you can do is you can pop on over to this side panel right here, and as you can see, the answer choices are listed right here underneath the radio button. So if neither of those other options are working for you, you can go in right here and add in your answer choices manually here. Now I'm going to delete that and close out forms. Finally, another error that started happening to us, sometimes our screen reader started doing this weird thing where it would start reading out your knowledge check answer choices twice. This is obviously not great because it would be confusing or just really tedious for the learner to have to listen to everything twice. So we definitely wanted to make sure we fixed this. We tried just going in over here and deleting the tags, but that wasn't working either. So we went about it another way that ended up working great. So to show you what we did, I'm going to go ahead and delete this whole knowledge check form so that you can see it from scratch. So I would delete any of the tags associated with this text. And then you're going to go into Edit PDF, and you're going to delete this entire text box and hit close. So now as you can see, your paragraph tags go right from the question to the feedback. Now what you're going to do is go ahead and prepare your form with the radio buttons. You're going to go in and you are going to recreate your form the same way as you did before, just on a blank section of your document. So you will choose A. Awesome. Now, once you've done that, you can close out your forms for now. And again, sometimes it'll create these little tags. Sometimes it won't. You're going to delete them so that you can make sure that you enter them exactly where you want them. So now what you're going to do is you're going to create 4 new tags, and they're all going to be form tags. Right-click on your form tag, click Find, and go to Unmarked Annotations. As you can see, the question will still pop up right here, and it will put this little square around your first answer choice. You can say tag, and now all of your answer choices are tagged exactly the same way as before. Now the screen reader will only read out these forms instead of reading it out twice. What you can do afterwards, if you'd like to add the answer choices back in, is you can go to Edit PDF, Add Text, and then pop a text box back in. And then if you want to clean it up a little bit, you can rearrange the radio buttons. And there you go. Now it should only read out these form buttons, and it should not read out any of this text that you've added in here. Taking out the original text completely and then adding it back in as an extra text box seems to get around the error of the screen reader reading out the answer choices twice. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that some of the troubleshooting tips that we came up with are helpful for you if you or your company is working on making some of your PDFs accessible to learners who are using screen readers. So stay tuned for the next part of our series where we will be going over tagging your table of contents correctly, making sure those links work, tagging lists correctly so that the screen reader reads them in a way that makes sense, and making sure that the reading order of your document makes sense to the learner.